when the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality. Open up those pages, it's sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends, so join the book club by DLC.
Hello there, book clubbers. Hope you're dancing in your seat. Hope you got some boogie in your feet. Hope you're having a good week. I'm Jeff Kanata. I'm here with Lana Bashinsky. Hi, Lana.
Hello, good morning. Bright and early here on Thursday to get through some of, again, very exciting chapters and one otherwise very dense chapter.
Yeah.
Good reading this week. Good reading this week.
Yeah, I am constantly amazed how much this book constantly amazes me. It is, I have no idea where it's going. Literally, like it zigs, it zags. We've got little buddies who I just have never saw any of this coming. It's a wild read. And usually we have a non-spoiler section at the beginning of the show. We're going to skip that this week just because of time. We're kind of a little pressed schedule wise. So we want to get, enough time to dig into each of these chapters, but we'll be back with more non-spoilers next week. If you have topics for us, please dlcfeedback@gmail.com is a place to send them. But we are starting with chapter 17 to 24 this week. So spoilers starting now for chapter 17, entitled Sword of the Lictor, which is the titular title. That's redundant. Anyway, so we left off with Severian, dispatching the Alzabo, and saying, "Hey, bro, peace out. I don't care about these folks. Whatever." It's the next morning is how this chapter starts, and old Casdo actually was being kind of nice and leaves some food stuff for Severian on the doorstep, and she pieces out. She's like, "I'm leaving because there's monsters."
Well, she's like, "Look, I did make breakfast. I know that we left you super high and dry to die to the monster last night, and that's on me. But you don't have to eat with us. That's on you. We get it. This is not. We're gonna go. No matter what, you said that they could come back and kill us once you're gone. So we're gonna peace out of here."
And Severian's like, "Man, does that make me a liar to the demon beast?" I guess maybe. Technically, no. I'm okay. It's not my decision.
Well, he's like, "Does it make me a liar to the demon beast that they left?" No. I also said, because the Casdo and the fam go. Casdo, little Severian, and the old guy.
Man.
Just sort of depart, and Severian walks sort of behind where they're going, and he's like, I told the beast I wasn't going to hunt it, and I wasn't going to stay at the house, but I never said that I wouldn't walk behind the family and protect them."
Right.
So that is not, who's the liar here? Not me. Honorable dude.
Nothing in the rules that says a dog can't play basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to go letter of the law here. You know what? If that Alzabo comes back, I'm just going to lay it out for him and let him know.
Yeah, we'll have a diplomatic chat. And he'll get it. He'll get it.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So he sort of creepily follows the family along their route. And they're kind of walking along this muddy path, and he notices there's other footsteps, little footprints in the mud that are big, and they're barefooted. And he's like, I wonder if there's like warriors or mountain men. I wonder if there's danger for Casdo and the fam.
But he's noticing that the Casdo and the fam's footprints are all on top of the other big footprints.
Yeah.
Until one of them goes on top of little Severian's footprint. And he's like, okay, so there's something here that has walked between where Casdo and the fam are and where I currently am. And he's like, time to hustle.
Time to hustle. Yes. And then there was only my footprints in the sand. And I knew he was carrying me.
It really takes a turn in there.
Yes, so he hears shouting, and he like kind of comes over this hill, looks down, and sees the fam being attacked by half beast dude, like freaky deaky dudes.
Giant mountain sort of devolved humans. Are they goats?
No, I'm just making that up.
Okay.
No, it's like weird beastie guys.
I pictured and I pictured it in the moment, but then it sort of made clearer with Severian talking in the chapters, sort of following this, as like Neanderthal, like
right,
mountain men.
Yeah, I mean the description of what we'll get to is so creepy and so disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they're basically devolved humans that chose to do that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Oh, I better jump in and save him." Should I though?
They're looking pretty scary, and they were kind of mean to me.
He was like, earlier, like I've been so heroic earlier, but like I kind of had to in those moments. I had no other choice than to be heroic, so I don't really want to now. I have the choice. I'm standing here. I can do whatever I want. It's
like I have free will. Let me ponder it for a moment.
Yeah.
And then I forget if it's that the dog is moving around first or what, but the Alzabo, he hears sort of like a rustling, and the Alzabo has also been tracking the family as they left the place, and sort of jumps out of the forest near him and is there to be like, you ain't getting this prey. You Neanderthal weirdos. Yeah. I'm going to kill you so that I can then kill them, because I've been waiting to feast on their bodies to reunite the family. I've been waiting to reunite the family.
That's right. It's just a beautiful little, there's inside me is the rest of the family. So we got to get everybody together. Yeah. So it becomes this crazy 3-way fight of the beast men, the Alzabo, the family, and Severian. He jumps in and he starts swinging his big giant sword, Terminus Est, and slicing some beast men in twain. And then he kind of drives them off. The battle has ended, and he's like, "Oh, sweet, okay, Kazdo, are you okay?" And Alzabo's like, "What? Do I have something in my teeth?"
Yeah. A pretty brutal scene where he's there pondering, do I go in and save them, or am I it's not like cowardice so much as just like choosing what to do with my life. But Severian pops in too late. The Alzabo has straight munched Kazdo in half.
She's like hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It's so disturbing.
The Alzabo,
like half a body just flopping around in the mouth,
But the Alzabo is also dead, dying on the ground. Yeah. All the beastmen are dead or fled, I think. I don't know if they actually killed all of them that were there, but the fight is concluded.
The old man is dead.
The old man is dead. The dog is dead. And the only survivor is little Severian, who is I think he like ran away or ran into the woods for a little bit.
No, isn't he like just holding on to the Alzabo
fur?
Yeah.
He's like on the back of the Alzabo,
clutching it. Like, it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And so Severian's like, "I guess I'm your dad now.
Come here, son."
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird. And especially like I had it going through my head the whole time what you said last week about maybe this is still, it's like past him, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is an explicit in these chapters somewhere. He explicitly says he joined the guild as a baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I definitely had that going
through
my
head. And his
the
perfect memory, especially in these chapters, is flawless. There's no weird Severian not telling us stuff and then just knowing names of people.
Yeah.
It's totally, he's believable. So I believe the baby thing for sure.
Yeah. So Severian's like, maybe I should use the Claw of the Conciliator to heal little Severian's mom, and he's like, "Ick, how would that work? Like, half her body is gone.
But it's also
I better keep it in the pocket, maybe not try."
But despite Dorcas being like, "This is how it works,"
I know,
and him being like, "Sure, honey, let's get you to bed," he's like, "It's still a healing device." And Dorcas was like, "It is something that will put something back in time to a place in which it existed in a way."
I had the same thought.
What if she came to life and then she'd be headless? Ugh, yucky. She doesn't want that. And it's like, I think our understanding that we only have because Dorcas told you is that that's not what would happen. But sure, man. I think maybe you don't want her to come to life and you want a son.
Same exact thought process. He was like, "Yeah, I'd be real icky. Nobody wants that. I'm just not gonna heal." And he's like, "No, but it would be back in time to the part where she had the whole body connected." Yeah. Anyway, but he doesn't do it. He instead buries Casdo and the old man underneath a cairn. And he's like, "All right, little Severian, it's you and me now, bud. It's Lone Wolf and Cub, the two Severians." And of course, chapter 18 is called Severian and Severian, which may be my favorite chapter title yet.
Very sweet.
Severian and Severian. I love that.
I will say Severian we'll say adopting and not abducting the Severian. It's like
adopting,
surprisingly
not abducting. That's funny.
Pretty sweet with him. Like he's crying. I held him and walked around. He's like doing dad stuff with them in a way.
He does have genuine affection for the kid and wants what's best for him. I mean, we see how that turns out later.
This whole chapter arc was like, well, all right then.
I know. It was rough. Shocking too.
Yes, it was.
We'll get there. So yeah, they're like, they find this river and they're like drinking water, and he's like, "Okay, we Big Severian." I like how they immediately call each other Big Severian and Little Severian. It's very
cute.
Big Severian says, "Okay, we can't be on the roads. We gotta travel, and stay off the main road and stay out of sight." And they start wandering toward the mountains. And here is, again, the thing you described last week, I believe, that is so sci-fi and cool. We get really dig into the details of the mountains having been carved into the likenesses of people. It's just what's it called? The one, ours with the.
I did briefly think, is it every mountain or is it Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, Mount Rushmore. That's what I was thinking. It's just like every mountain's Mount Rushmore. It's like it's just a bunch of Mount Rushmores all along the mountain range, which is kind of wild to imagine. I mean, what a cool concept. But he's describing how all these former leaders or rulers of Earth have been carved into the mountains, which is like, I love that as just a visual, as just an image in my head. It's such a wild notion to be in the middle of the wilderness, but you look up and you see these massive heads. That's crazy. Also what a cool way to, and you kind of said this last week, but what a cool way to convey the former power of this world, the technological advancement that allowed people to just carve mountains as they pleased, Yeah,
because more so than Mount Rushmore, it's like the idea is that the mountain is now a whole sculpture versus like a sort of facade on it. Not a facade, but like a relief, more like it. It's very cool imagery. Very cool imagery.
Totally. So this is when we have this sort of extended description of what the half beast men were, which we get the term zoanthropes. Severian's like, "There were zoanthropes, boys, say the word."
Yeah, he's like, "Those men were pretty bad," and he's like, "Well, they weren't men, so don't use that because they were too freaky."
This is one of my favorite sequences of this week's sections because he's kind of taken this boy under his wing. He's describing things to him. He's trying to comfort him, but he's also describing truly one of the most horrific concepts I can imagine, which is basically these people are so unhappy and distraught with the way the world is going. They would rather be lobotomized than think as evolved human beings. And so basically he describes these people that just choose. He's like, there's doctors that are willing to, chop your hand off if you have some sort of awful disease in your hand that might spread to the rest of your body. So they'll just chop your hand or your arm off and amputate it so that, the rest of you will survive. And there's doctors that'll do that for your brain as well. There's a little piece of your brain that can think scary, scary thoughts. And there's people who don't want to think those thoughts anymore. And so they just choose to have that excised from their brain. It's just like, so it really was disturbing to me.
Yeah. It's like despite all the technological advancements or like of their society, they're like, yeah, just cut your brain out. We'll drop you in the woods and you can live like a little animal. And people are like, oh, finally, peace. It's like a way gnarlier Eternal Sunshine situation.
Yeah, or
that these
Severance.
folks,
I was also thinking of Severance.
Never
I don't know if you watched that show. Oh, yeah. Well, same kind of thing where it's like, work is so bad, just like cut it out so I don't have to experience it. It's this, except there's no other time. It's just you are just this devolved beast person. And I guess that's happier. I guess that people are into that.
The way that Severian describes it is like people look at animals and being the only thing that they have to worry about is what they're going to eat the next day and mating and sleeping. Like that's their whole lives. And that there's something beautiful to just being a little animal and only caring about those things. But they're turned into giant, sinister.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons that Severian stepped in is because they're like ape men who are nude and they were like, a lady's here and we're going to do our animal thing.
Yeah.
It's like, got to step in before the assault happens from these animal people. It's not great.
Yeah. I mean, I found it very upsetting. It's just a really dark concept.
Yeah.
Especially because we've already seen how they behave, right? Like you were talking about. Anyway, so they go, through the mountains, through this mountain pass, and all of a sudden in front of them is a jungle, big old jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I briefly was like a jungle. And immediately thinking back to the botanical gardens, thinking back to places we've seen jungles. But then I'm like, I live in Washington. There are like rainforest jungles in the mountains here too. It's like a normal thing, I guess. Felt weird still.
Guess that word conjures very specific things.
Tropical feeling.
Yeah. I'm not sure it was intended to imply that. I think it just meant like really dense forestation or vegetation. Yeah. Anyway, they're like, well, let's make camp before we go into the jungle. And let's look at the stars. And the boy's like, Papa, tell me a story.
Let me get my notes.
Here we go. So Severian cracks open Wonders of Earth and Sky, his faithful book that he's been carrying around since Thekla. And we have chapter 19 entitled The Tale of the Boy Called Frog.
The other thing I will say that sort of teed up is little Severian's like, tell me a story. And he's like, what kind of stories have you heard? And he's like, the kind of stories. And he says stories that feel more light, like kids' stories. And Severian's like, I've got this book. It's got stories like this. And little Severian's like, those stories sound bad. Find a story that's got these details in it. And so he cracks open the book, Severian looking through the book to the best visibility. I'm assuming that this is just a story from that book, but the way little Severian's like, no, find one that's got this. I'm wondering if there's just like mishmash of some random stuff Severian might have found otherwise. But the end of the story is so weird. And there's so many parts to it that I feel like, I don't know, it's a very odd story. Just like with the play, this is the second time, I think, in all of our readings that I'm like, I took a bunch of notes to try and digest what is happening. But for everybody listening who read it and I still stand on, if it really mattered, we would know later. And having gone through it and taken pretty rigorous notes, it's for like second readers of the book is my reaction to it.
I'm not really sure what to take from it. I have a summary here. Do you want me to do a quick summary of how the story goes?
You can get a quick summary of how the story goes, and because mine is longer and filled with like just wacky references. So
Great.
it's sillily written, but I'll pull out the things that I'm trying to relate in making anything of that might be significant.
That story itself has like sub chapters in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is an early summer and her son. And so we have this distant world. There is a person named Early Summer, and she's married to a jealous king. She picks this mysterious red flower that impregnates her somehow.
As it do.
I love the like one sentence of just like, some of the flower juices got on her. And I was like, how? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
She's like, I looked at the flower and thought it was a flower. And then I was like, no, it's a lover. Anyway, plant juice got on me and I got a baby.
Yeah. Anyway, so she has a son. That son's name is Spring Wind. He grows up to lead an army and he visits Earth. He finds a virgin priestess. And with the virgin priestess, he conceives twins. Those babies are put in a basket and sent down the stream.
Yeah, the virgin priestess. So he, Spring Wind would come to Earth to fight battles, and he knew two kings. And one of the kings died, who was the father of the woman that Spring Wind impregnates with twins. But he died, and then Bird of the Woods' uncle comes in and is like, I'm jealous and I don't want anybody to have the throne. Right. So he forces Bird of the Wood to be listed as a virgin priestess, as like a vow of celibacy, so that she can't have kids and nobody can come take the throne from him, right, as like the rightful heir. And so when Springwind sees that, he's like, first of all, that's so sad because that was my friend who died. And also that's so sad because she's so hot. And he like goes and gives her smooches by the river and impregnates her. And so the other priestesses hide the fact that she's pregnant because the jealous king, who's her uncle, he's not jealous, but the uncle will kill the kids. But they do a Moses and they ship the babies down the river.
Yeah. So the basket goes down the water. The kids survive. Two peasant women find the twin boys, take them in, name them Frog and Fish, as one does. Frog and his adopted family are attacked by a tiger.
What?
He escapes. He goes to the den of wolves. The tiger pursues Frog and demands that the wolves give Frog to him. The wolves, as we all know how wolves are going to react to that, they convene a senate.
Obviously, I put in here that wolves got wolf law.
You know how when you see wolves and you're like, man, I wonder who your state representative is.
I want to pause for 1 second. There's no tiger in the book. This is interpretation of.
So I'm just reading from my cheat sheet, and it said tiger, so I read that.
Yeah. So what?
I also don't remember a tiger, but that's what it says.
So yeah, that's interesting. So I'm going to back up a little. The Frog and Fish are adopted, called Frog and Fish. There's an interesting thing here where one of them went to somebody who's a herdsman. One went to Frog went to the woodcutter, and Frog's mom carried Frog on her back in a sling. And then the story says, because of that, she was considered the strongest woman because she carried an empire on her back. Which, of course, right. You know that I wrote Frog's the autarch because I can't. Everybody's the autarch. Right. When Frog became a toddler, he like goes to the fire, and when he looks at the fire, he says "red flower," and that stirs his grandmother, Summer Wind, who got
Who
impregnated
really
by a flower,
likes flowers.
loves
she's
flowers.
super into flowers.
Wherever she is in the galaxy, she sort of stirs in her sleep because this kid has this.
Right.
Then there is a spooky sound. All it says is there's a spooky sound. It's the worst sound you've ever heard. It sounds like this. It sounds like the earth sharing apart. There's a crazy sound that they refer to as a smilodon. Or they actually say it's kind of like this. It's kind of like a smilodon. It's kind of like this. But then they continue to refer to it as the smilodon. So I'm assuming that is a tiger. There's no description of what a smilodon is. Maybe from the past there is, but assuming that is a tiger, that's like an interesting detail that is presented by your summary.
I'm just, you actually took notes. I'm just reading somebody else's notes.
No, so, I'm just corresponding that with my understanding of
no, it's good.
What's happening.
I like it.
Great.
All right. So Wolfe Senate.
Wolf government is in session.
I mean, they literally use the word Senate, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They convene to determine the fate of Frog. My cheat sheet says the tiger speaks against Frog and demands him as prey.
So the tiger is the butcher. So here's a few things that happen that I think are parts of the piece that are interesting. I am trying to relate this. Well, they have the names Machine in there again.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. We're fine. Which they didn't mention. They were like, no mention of Machine or Machine, whatever. But the last time we saw those is Machine and Machine, which Dorcas and Severian played in the play.
Right. I did recognize that from that, but I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. So the butcher, who is maybe the tiger, is hunting the child of Machine, which is a technically a different spelling of the other things. This hunted child. The wolves comment on the fact that the butcher is screaming in grief and he has the smell of burnt flesh, which I thought was interesting.
Yes, especially because we had all the burning recently with the fire demon. I don't know if that's connected.
Well, the other things I wrote like unhinged little things that I'm like, is this something? Is this something? Is this something? There's butcher. As they go into the Senate, I just wrote, there's some historical stuff maybe. When the Spring Wind was around fighting wars, no one attacked the wolves because everybody was tied up in war, and the wolves were kind of like, we chillin', and eventually emerged. There's the butcher, he who laughs, and the black killer are all mentioned as characters.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, is the butcher he Thor?
Yeah.
Is it the Notules? He who laughs, is that Severian? Because I thought of that because of a theme that happens later. There's like, I'm trying to like cast them, I guess, as Dr. Talos might, in reference to what they might be representing.
Yeah, there's also the naked one and the black killer. Did you already see those?
I said black killer. Naked one comes out a little bit later.
Those are wolves.
Yeah, those are wolves. The son of Meshia, it's not clear. I think the son of Meshia is Spring Wind, and then there's some things about Meshia being like the creator. The things of Meshia, sons of Meshia being like humanity who didn't take care of Earth. And everything's sort of messed up and whatever. There is smoke called out from being from a red flower. And I was sort of being like, is red flower, the kid got up and said red flower when looking at the fire. They're talking about smoke from a red flower. Red flower, I think, is not a flower. I'm like, is it a mushroom cloud? Is it, there's something.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
In that. Frog, she-wolf has some kind of galactic technology that she utilizes to communicate. The he-wolf brings it up. Frog has the blood of people beyond Earth, which I wrote exultants, aliens, the wolves.
Well, we know that because they came, the parent, early summer came from, and Spring Wind came from off-world. So they have,
Yes, and it talks about specifically him being much taller than everybody else, which is why I said exultant specifically. And then they talk about the butcher is maybe an Elzabo, maybe I guess a tiger. They specifically call out, you have eaten the dead wolf flesh, which made me be like a Tekla situation, a Vodalis like.
Interesting.
Those are all my little.
I like it.
Things. And the only other thing is the naked one comes in way later. Yeah. It's just like, and the naked one was here, who is also known as Savage, who is also known as Squanto. That's the end of the story, is just like giving the naked one other names, which the only naked one I think we know of, I'm like, this Squanto old boy from the jungle hut of yore.
Yeah, maybe. Or aren't all the guys we're about to meet, all the sorcerer dudes, aren't they all naked and painted, just painted?
Oh yeah, that might be true too.
I don't know.
And then the last thing is the black killer shows up at the very end and is like, the wolves are fighting over whether or not Frog is a real wolf or not. And they're like, it is because he's got 2 wolf parents, because the he wolf and she wolf adopted him. And he's like, that's not enough. You're a fake wolf. And the black killer comes in and is like, I got a bunch of gold if I can just buy the whole government here for a sec.
Ransom for the
And he
it's like, I'll pay your bail.
Pays your bail for the kid, and everybody's like, speak. And I'm like, is this like a gold? Is this a premonition now that's built into what's happening through the last chapter of this section?
Yeah. Right.
There's something there. Then the very last section of the chapter, I don't know how it says in your, what's your section say?
For the plowing of the fish, it says that Frog is raised by the wolves, and then he assumes leadership of the wolves and of men, and he reunites with Fish, and the brothers reclaim their kingdom, and Frog plows a trench to build a wall for their city. Fish mocks the project by leaping over the furrow, and Frog is insulted, and his followers kill Fish. Frog buries Fish beneath the wall.
Yeah, this was more Frog's the autarch, because we got the big wall.
Yeah,
it says something
we've
about
been to the
him,
wall of Nessus.
Yeah, wielding the red flower, which I'm like, is that fire? He's got more firepower. It says he's taller than others. Early summer visits him in his sleep, which I'm like, Tekla, Severian. And it's the early summer. His grandmother visiting him in his sleep is like, she's the one who's like, did you know that you're actually descended from like the king, and you could just come take this thing? And that's what inspires them to go try and take over and get their rightful place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in that process of building the ramparts, they also were like, we're done with the wolves. So the wolves went back to obscurity.
Yeah. They went back to form a more perfect union, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? But weird story. Lots of like possible little connections we could make.
Yeah.
But overall, other than being like, there's probably some stuff. Severian's probably one of these characters. The Autarch's probably one of these characters. Maybe they're the same.
Yeah.
Very
abstracted,
who knows?
Very dense, very obscure. I mean, not obscure, but obtuse for me.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, chapter 20. It's the next morning. Severian's, I hope you enjoyed that story, boy. Boy. They enter that mountain jungle, and there is this thing in the distance that little Severian's like, what's that, Papa? And he's like, oh, that is a ward against the coming of the new sun.
It's a rooster's head with its eyes stabbed out, holding snakeskin.
Yeah, you know, that.
Obviously.
Yeah. But he thinks that there are, people who like don't want the new sun to come, and this is kind of this religion, I want to say.
Yep. Okay. That's probably the best word for it.
Yeah. So Severian's like, this is a bad direction. We should turn around. And unfortunately, a bunch of men show up from the forest that are painted. I think they're naked. If I recall, they're naked, but just painted. Their bodies are painted. And Severian's like pulls his sword out, and the guy's like, hey man, we'll let you come through here. It's fine. You don't have to get upset. All you got to do is give us the boy. Just give us the boy. No thing. And he's Severian's like, you mean this boy right? Hey, where'd he go?
Yeah.
And
they're like, I guess now you could give us your sword too.
Yeah. So he gives up Terminus Est and goes with the men to this village among the trees. And they bring Severian to a hatch in the ground. And they open the hatch. He goes down this ladder into this underground chamber. And it's dark. It's scary. It's basically a prison cell. And he doesn't see any exit. He tries to sleep. He thinks about how he used to hang out in the necropolis in Nessus. He thinks about his puppy dog friend. He thinks about Thekla. He's down in this hole.
Yeah, I think this is the moment. It could have happened earlier where he's kind of thinking about the fight with the El Zabo and the, not the Smilodons, the guys, the big Neanderthal guys.
The man apes.
The man apes.
Yeah.
But he's thinking about how he's like, when we were fighting the El Zabo the first time, that dog was a coward. It was nowhere to be seen.
My doggy would have done something way cooler.
My dog is way braver than your dog. And he goes, but then when it came to like that fight where Kazdo got her head bit off, that dog was in there immediately, no questions asked. And was I the coward? I stood back and watched it. And then I think it immediately is like, no, it's the children who are wrong. But like you see him almost have some moment of, did I do badly here? And the answer for Severian seems to be always no. There's always a reason that he did.
No, I was right. I was right to be cowardly.
I was right.
I'm alive, dog dead.
So
QED.
there's that. Yeah. But as he's sitting in the dark, he suddenly hears, and he did like go check like the edges of the walls. He's like, it's sort of like dirt inside, but a voice comes in and he's like, I didn't hear the hatch open. I didn't hear anybody enter, but somebody's in the room with me now.
Yeah.
And I forget what he's saying to him though.
Well, it's this weird, it gets real weird here because the guy's like, hey, man, you got magic? And Severian's like, yes, so much magic. And I guess it's a bluff. It feels like a bluff. Severian's just like, I am a sorcerer. Yep. Yes, I am. And he's like, and the man's like, oh, wow, oh, okay. And he's like, I used my magic, my grand magic to escape Thrax. That's how I did it, because I am a great magician. And it kind of scares the man away. And then Severian's like, oh, he's looking around. He finds this, the ladder that he came in. He's like, I'll just leave through this ladder. And he starts climbing up it. And then his little pokies on his head, little pokies.
It's such an interesting picture of the dark jail of like you climb in and there's like things that are pointed down enough that you don't feel them. You just sort of glide past them and you try and go out and it's like barbs that are going to stab you on the way out.
Pit.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's the pit of Sarlacc, where you're digested over 1,000 years.
Exactly. But so he goes out there and he's like, okay, well, that can't be the way that somebody came in and out of here. There's got to be something else happening in this room. Because despite being like, ooh, magic, Severian, for the course of the next few chapters, is basically out loud saying things with extreme confidence and then internally being like, well, we all know magic isn't real. It's stupid. And saying that to Severian. But then sometimes internally being like, but if there was magic, I'm actually the most powerful sorcerer. And if you think about it, like if there was magic, I'm the best at it. It's like very sort of disorienting, but he doesn't actually think there's magic. He thinks there's another way. So he feels around in the dark until he finds a hole in the ceiling that he's like, oh, this guy probably wasn't actually even in the room with me. He probably just poked his head in there and talked so that it sounds like he's right in here, but he was able to like pop away easily. But Severian's so tall that he's kind of like, and just kind of scoots himself up and into some tunnels.
So funny, the idea of this little guy like poking his head and he's like, hey man, you got some magic? And he's like, yeah, I got so much magic. He's like, all right, bye.
Just curious. Thank you.
All right. I'll be up here. Anyway, so Severian squeezes through the little hole out of there, and he's in this labyrinth of, like I'm imagining like an ant farm, kind of underneath the ground. And he's moving through there and he has this kind of sense that he's being pursued, and he's certain that it's another of Hethor's monsters coming after him.
He can smell its stink trail.
Yeah. Oh.
So he's walking around, and sometimes he'll be like walking past places he knows that he's either been before or the monster's been before, because he like passes a distinct stink line.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, gotta keep moving because the stank be stinking.
The funny thing about this is that the chapter titles in these sections, the chapter we just talked about is called The Circle of Sorcerers. This one is called The Duel of Magic. And we're like in reading this chapter titles, I'm like, whoa. And then it's almost like subverting that expectation intentionally, you know?
Well, it's so interesting because I've always felt like the chapter titles were named something either that like the chapter before it was relevant.
Yeah.
That's been
It's
something that but every once in a while, then you're like Severian, and it's right on the money. But it feels to me, it almost feels laced in with the time question feelings that we're having. That the chapter titles feel a little off sometimes, and they're a little on sometimes. But also, the duel of magic cannot be read as like Severian's mental duel with like finding the way out of this place. It's the duel with the salamander that he thinks is sleuthing around in here. And it's not an overt duel, but there's not no duelish feelings in the chapter. But there's very overtly a duel in the next chapter. Yeah. So there's an interesting thing that Gene Wolfe does with the titles that is like immediately being like, I'll tell you what's happening next later.
It's very playful and ironic. It's very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so he's moving through the tunnels, and he pulls out the claw of the conciliator and as a little flashlight, and he finds a ladder. He climbs it, and he realizes that the village of the painted men is right over there. He's like, oh, maybe I can go find little Severian and my sword. Not sure which he cares about more, frankly.
Yeah. This is also, I don't know if it happened while he was in the hole. I don't know if it happened when he was on the trail, but there's the first of like a few, I'm sure these details are happening all the time for people who have read the books before, but there's a little thing that Severian does that I'm like, I don't think we knew that about that thing. Is he references his little pouch. Yeah. Being the one that Dorcas made for him to hold the claw. As being like, I touched my little human skin pouch. We knew that the sabertash was made out of human skin from when he got it. But it's the first time that he's casually been like, I touched my little human skin sack for the claw. And I'm like, Dorcas made you a human skin sack? Did Dorcas know that she was sewing human skin? Yeah. Did that really happen? There's like something about that detail with Dorcas being so horrified by death. And obviously like her same like fear of water and stuff that made me be like, did you just say, here's some weird leather I found you, and she asked no questions? Like, there's several moments in these chapters that I'm like, you never said that before. Yeah. Why are you saying this now?
At the risk of being crass, I always imagine in my head like a little ball sack around his neck, little testes, just little hanging testes.
I need one more claw. Really fill it out.
Second claw. So anyway, so he follows the river and he goes. He arrives at the little village, and he is spying on the men who are preparing to do this ceremony of some kind. There's a fire, and they're all painted, and they've got Lil Severian and they've got Terminus Est. And one of them is like, go get the other one. Go get the big Severian, basically. And he's like, I don't know, boss. He's gone. I don't know what happened.
Can't explain it.
And then Severian's like, ha! I was here the whole time. It's like just the worst plan ever. You literally have the advantage. And you're just like, here I am. Woohoo!
His ego is so out of control. The scene is so interesting because he is standing under the tree and he's in, the foliage and cloak, and he has his mask on. He's like, I just stood there and I watched them for however long to see like, this is where they go in and out of. This is this thing, all this preparation happening. But also feels like, he's casing the joint. Where's little Sevy at? But then it literally spins right from his thoughts, perceiving it into him like irresistibly being like, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, he's like, looking for me, were you? Exactly. I was here the whole time. Brilliant.
Yeah. It is my grand magics that got me out of the thing. And he's immediately like, these fools running around, they don't even know that I'm a mage.
But then he does a pretty sick Vulcan neck pinch on the guy.
That is sweet.
It's pretty sweet. He's like, you have my sword. Pinch. And the guy's like, oh, your sword. Pretty sweet. He's like, yeah, now I've got my sword back. And then the head of the village, the elder, whose name is Abundantius.
Yeah.
Abundantius. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Abundantius. They all pull spears on Severian, and he's like, "These weren't laser spears. These are like old school spears.
Yeah.
Like full on like normal spears."
And we haven't mentioned that even the first guys that they saw had claw weapons.
Oh yeah.
So
Like
some of them have
Wolverine
spears.
claws,
Like the Wolverine claws that people have. I know there's an actual old weapon that's his name, but my brain's like what cosplayers have, where they have the handle that sits in their hand, but the claws kind of come out of the handle and makes it look like Wolverine claws, which
sick.
is he pontificates on later.
Yeah. And Abundantius is like, hey, bro. You mage, me mage, we both mage. Let's have mage fight. Prove your mage powers. And Severian's like, sure. Yes, let's do it. And they go into this wooden building and they sit him down. Little Severian is seated opposite this person named Decuman.
Which we don't know when he's seated. This is another detail. He's like, I'm sitting there. Their mage is sitting there. We're about to have a mage off. And then what ensues happens in the room. But it isn't until the very start of the next chapter that he's just like, I laugh. This is why I was like, is he who laughs? He's like, my laugh had broken Decuman's concentration.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
right.
Why do you know his name? What are you
not telling us, Severian?
Anyway,
Totally.
He's sitting across from somebody named Decuman. We don't know that his name is Decuman, which is just a weird Severianism, how he tells this tale.
Yeah. And how this goes down is weird because Abundantius is like, all right, mage battle commence. And there's like chanting starting. And Severian like turns to little Severian and is like, magic's fake, dude. It's all fake. Do you remember how they like poked your little head up out of the hatch and pretended like they prestidigitated you here?
Yeah,
fake. I saw how it does. There's like it's all wires. Do you see? Like I know how it's done.
Yeah,
he had a second ace of spades in his sleeve.
And then but as he's saying it, he's talking to Lil Severian. He's like, it's all fake. And then in his head, he's like, but I am feeling like some kind of magical probing right now coming from this other guy, which is like so crazy because magic is fake. But what if it was real? And I'm going to say it kind of out of order, but over the course of like them in this dual hut, he's sitting there and he at some point is talking to Lil Severian and is like, but we are going to do magic, quote unquote, do magic, but let's just stand up and see if we're going to just walk across the room and see if we're going to do magic on this guy. And as soon as they stand up, the walls are all made out of bronze tipped spears. And Little Severian's like, pretty sure they're watching us and they're not going to just let you go stab that guy. And he's like, I know that, obviously. Like sits down again. And then he's like, magic is definitely fake. But in his head, then he's like, but if it were real, you could possibly say that what this guy was doing was like dark magic. And it was like probing. And if there was a different type of magic, like a bright magic, like a cool magic that was like light, maybe that I have that, and maybe I'm the best mage in the world, and maybe because my brain is so big and these people don't know that I have the claw, I am the best mage. He's like talking himself into saying that he's the best at this thing. But the details that he sort of runs through in thinking that gives him the advantage over this guy who's probing into his brain is noticing the details of these sort of tribes people. Is some people, he's sort of thinking about who the conciliator is. Right. And the conciliator is supposed to be the guy who brings the new sun, or is against the new sun, I think.
I think is the new sun.
Is the new sun, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if people want to fight against the new sun, the claw of the conciliator is the thing that made the old sun go away or control the sun. And if you didn't know that the claw of the conciliator was a gem, you might make literal claws.
Look at these idiots taking it literally.
These fools.
These dummies. Like, you made a claw because it's called a claw. doofus.
And so that, I think, him thinking about that and the strength that they don't know, that I know, that they think they have the claw, but I have the claw. He sort of holds on to it and is also like, I don't know why I ever thought I had to take the claw out of this little bag for it to function.
Yeah, I can work just right in here in my little nutsack on my neck.
My little nutsack.
My little neck sack.
And then he starts like sort of cackling because of his own musings on magic.
I know, like a weirdo. He just starts giggling. But before we get to that, it is interesting to me that the way I had maybe I had been filling in the blanks and it's more clear than that, but the impression that I had gotten up to this point is that the coming of the new sun is pretty much universally desired. Like the sun is fading.
Yeah. It's
bad. Everybody wants a new sun. Everybody is awaiting the coming of the new sun, which is like, it's a great thing that we all want. And here is this sect of magi who their whole unifying principle is like, no, we don't want the new sun to come.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
I thought it was interesting too. And I think it was because it was tied to the idea that we had Earth at some point and then we rejected Earth. We did bad Earth. And so it seems sort of like nihilistic, like this is what we deserve.
Yeah.
But there's just a constant interest of them being like, we want the coming of the new sun that is spoken about literally in my understanding of sun, and that it will be bright new star that will make the Earth better.
Right.
But my understanding of space is like there can't literally be a new sun. And sometimes the new sun is talked about as though it's a being, like the conciliator, who will come and make it better. So there's an interesting, do they not want the guy? Do they want the Earth to die? Right. There's religious
there's intentional ambiguity, I think,
stuff
around that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Anyway, so this chapter ends with Severian laughing, and then he hears someone scream outside the building or outside the hut, or whatever they're in. And so the next chapter, they've just heard the scream. Severian starts feeling Decuman's power, his spell growing more intense. And then they're attacked by this ooze monster, this slime beast.
I think it is just a noctule again. The salamander.
Really? Okay.
It does. There's a lot more goo talked about it than in previous times, but he also talks about trying to cut through it and knowing. It does feel like there's an interesting thing here because he's like, Jonas, we know that Hethor could be carrying it around in like a little, the way they talk about noctules is that they can expand, but they are so thin and basically nothing. You could capture them in a little bottle, fold them up, and they'll be like a little thing that's so light. But he's like, this thing is clearly the same kind of behaviors as the other salamander, that he's starting to call them salamanders, not noctules. He's like, but this one is, I slice into it and it's gooey, but it heals itself and there's goo and it stinks and it still seems like it's
and it like leaves a slug trail, like a slimy snail trail behind it.
Which is more like the thing that was hunting him when they were in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Which had a slug trail. But to me, there's two different it feels like there's two different alien beasts that are similar but not the same, or the noctules get so fed that they're becoming like No Face from Spirited Away, where they're getting bigger and gnarlier and more corporeal in a particular way as they continue to devour people on their path to get Severian.
It's
not clear.
I don't know if it's right here. I think it might be. There's an interesting musing where he starts thinking about Hethor, and he's like, how did he even like bring these monsters? Does he have like a truck? Does he have a wagon that he uses? And if he puts one in the wagon, that's weird in and of itself. But does he put two in the wagon? Because they can't both be in the wagon together.
No way they can both fit in the wagon.
How did he even do this? Yeah.
That's why it's like, it's not clear, because he's describing it as though this is the thing that has been hunting him that we have now associated with the flying gauzy noctules.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I don't remember them looking like this. And so they've either evolved or this is a different alien beast.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's bad. And he decides to peace out. He picks up little Severian, slashes with Terminus S, and just tries to get out of there. He climbs up into the rafters. The roof is there. He's trying to hack at the roof with Terminus Est to get through. The building catches on fire, and he like leaps from the roof. He's like, I don't know why I did that. I have this giant sword. I could have stabbed myself. The boy, real dumb, but they are, fleeing. He's carrying the boy, carrying a sword, running out of there, and they get back all the way to the wall of vines at the edge of the jungle.
Mm-hmm. They go back all the way to the river that they camped at before they even entered the jungle.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Severian at some point was like, hey, little Severian, remember when you ran away? That's like why we're here. Never do that again.
Yeah. You suck.
Only run
Why'd
when
you
I
do
tell
that?
you. Only run when I tell you to run. And then it's like, all right, it's running time. Let's go. We're getting out of Dodge.
Like, if you see me run, then you can run.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to run. Yes, but it's very
just feels very backtracky. They negate any progress, quote unquote, wherever they're going by getting back to the river. But they run so hard, so fast that they get to the river and Severian's like, I don't even know if that thing's hunting us, but we have fallen asleep right here.
Yeah. So Severian has a dream. I don't even remember what happens in the dream. Do you remember what happens in the dream?
I didn't write down what happens in the dream, but he does have a dream that is a dream. I do think that at some point Severian's like, I don't even dream. I just think about my memories. But in this case, it was like surreal. Thecla was there.
Yeah.
There's probably something to take from it, but I was too busy trying to be like, what's happening with frog and fish that I have not retained the information, even a little.
Yeah. And then one of the painted men shows up as they're walking through the trees. And he's like, you are a great magician, Severian. Mm-hmm. And both Severians find the village in ruins.
Yeah, they decide to go back, even though little Severian's like, wasn't that the place that we just were? And that was bad.
Yeah.
And big Severian's like, it's fine now. I just get the sense that we're gonna go check it out, and so they just follow the guy back.
Yeah, sorry. This is the part where he does that. What you talked about, where he talks about dark magic and light magic, and so it happens right here.
My bad.
Yeah, and so they basically have eaten through all of the food they brought with them, and they start, heading up into the mountains again, and Severian, is thinking about lying to the magicians and thinking about Master Gerlos, who basically lied to him all the time. He's like, but I guess he had good lies, because they lies that protected the guild and
ensured that I had a future, because when he points out all the lies that Master Gerlos would tell, it would be like, he would sort of cook the books in a way. He would say that we did better than we did. He would brush over mistakes that we made. Right. And it was always so annoying because he felt like he had no sense of like honor in a way, or that was bad that he would do those things. But I guess it was okay because it was all in like protection of us and actually made it so that we could continue to exist.
Yeah. He was like, he had a great line where he's like, did I hate Master Gerlos because he was a liar, or did I hate
lying?
Did I hate lying so much that it made me hate? Did I hate him because of the lies? Anyway, interesting stuff. So Severian has, it's total lone wolf and cub right now. Severian has little Severian on his back. He's like scaling this bluff. They get to this sort of paved road that's like perfectly paved.
So cool.
Yeah. And they are looking at the mountain, and little Severian is like, hey, Papa, look at the giant statue, man. And big Severian's like, you should definitely go touch that.
So they get to the road. Severian has some musings that I think is interesting, because he's like, this road must have never been touched by like a cart. Because carts, they leave like big ruts in the road, and like there's just no way. Getting a cart up this thing, ain't no way. And so in my brain, I'm like, they don't have like rubber. Or maybe they had hover cars or something that literally would have not touched the pavedness of this road in a way that he would see.
I interpreted it as they've just found a like full-on freeway. Like they found
Yeah.
like a paved, like it's not that there wouldn't be ruts because of the wheels. It's that like he doesn't understand it wouldn't be ruts 'cause-
Asphalt.
Yes, exactly. Because
I-
the
yeah.
paving of the road is so constituted that it just, it's like a real road.
Yeah, I thought
Like
it
a
was
modern
definitely
road.
like a highway, but I still was like, oh, if you were on like a nice highway that over time you were like using really hard stuff
Yeah.
on versus car tires, rubber, or whatever,
Right.
it would still damage it more than anything else. But seeing asphalt and being like, wow, nobody ever used this thing. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, how'd all these statues get here?
Yeah. So there's this giant statue, which totally gave me flashbacks to Malazan and the jade statue.
Yeah.
moment. It's there's this huge hand sticking out, fingers as long as tree logs, and there's a golden ring on it. And Severian's like, oh, what we could use is some cash money. And I bet that gold, we could just strip that gold off there. He's like, if it's plated gold, it's still so much gold. And he's like, but if it's plated gold, it probably wouldn't even be it all stripped away. It's probably solid gold, and then we're gonna be so rich. Oh man,
Yeah,
this is great. This is the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah, they're like walking by it, and the entire time they're walking by it, he's just calculating what the material, how solid the gold is, what could it be made of, even if it's gold. Like, it's so funny. But they go on this journey that they're walking over, and my picture is that it's the mountains statue carving of his hand.
Yeah.
But the path that they're on kind of takes them past it and into a place where the kid's like, now what is those spires? And he's like, it looks like where I'm from. And he's like, you're from there? There's from Thrax? And Severian's like, little Severian, first of all, I'm very worldly. That is not Thrax.
Yeah.
That is just a place. I've been to Thrax, St. Thrax.
Yeah.
But it's that he describes it as, this looks like my tower and the bear tower and the witch's tower. And so they
Right.
found another spaceport is what I would qualify this as. And so even though the ring is there, they're walking past it and towards this mountain.
Yeah, he's
spaceport.
like these were domed spires with smooth metal. I'm like, you're looking at rocket ships, bro. You're looking at rocket ships,
he's
like
like,
full on rockets.
Unlike the Medicine Tower, where like its weird stone siding was like all pushed out and stuff, it was like on there. And I'm like, oh, these are functional spaceships.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I don't know functional, but like
full on. It felt to me like a full on 1960s rocket.
Yeah.
In a in a silo ready to shoot straight
and like
up.
a Hubble telescope nearby looking at whatever. Yeah.
Totally. So he's like, oh, there's a door here, Papa. Look. And they find this thing that has doors all the way around it, and they're open. So they go strolling on in, and there's all these things, these contraptions that he's like, I don't want to even know how to describe them. They're not machines. They're not. Oh, I don't know if it's right here, but there's that wonderful sequence where he's like, people always say something is indescribable, and it's not. Oh, this is the dream, I think. He's like, people always say things are indescribable. It's not. You can describe things. Like, for example, this is like, I was stretched between the two hemispheres of this dude's brain.
Oh, yeah. That was when he was in the mage fight.
Yeah.
He described like, it was like, I was between two suns, basically, but I could tell it was the hemispheres of his brain that were looking at me.
It's like, people are just lazy. You can describe something. Watch. I'm going to describe the weirdest ass thing ever. It's very funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, they see these kind of weird contraptions. Like, I don't know. They're not machines. They're not gizmos. They're not. He's like, there's not. And then there's this red couch at the center of the room.
I'm picturing for like the first part, he describes like a place where somebody might sit, but then they'd be facing kind of away from the room and towards these devices. I'm picturing like Houston, home base, take off all the different computers. I'm picturing maybe like a more sci-fi version of it where you'd sit and be like, I'm locking it in like the Matrix chairs with like the computers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm picturing a base of operations for the spaceport. But then you get to
it
this
almost described like a hospital, though.
Almost.
Because he's like,
I'm
sees
thinking,
this bed that can provide nourishment. I was like, oh, you found an operating table.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what because then they find this this 2-headed corpse on the bed, and I feel like, oh, this is like full on alien autopsy is what this is. I don't know. That's the vibe I was getting, but
I mean, you might be totally right, but I feel like Severian would have like seen and identified things as medical equipment before, but you might be totally right because that has screens, that has stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But there is like this described as a red couch. Where my brain went was like mountain refuge with spaceships ready to rock and roll. Speaks to me of rich, weird king alien thing. There's like, this is my thing. I'm gonna get out of here when whatever goes down. And instead was like, I have to retire to my chair. Like the Skeksis emperor being like,
I see. That's interesting. The vibe I got was more that the corpse, like,
was under observation.
This thing provides nourishment, and we're so hungry. We can, because there's all this talk about Severian's like, I'm so hungry. He's like, you don't need food. We need water. What we really need is water. We can survive without food. So they're so hungry. He's like, this chair provides nourishment in some way, and I'm just imagining, intravenous, basically.
Yeah.
And they walk over to it, and there's a 2-headed corpse. It's literally a creature with 2 heads. And, the heads are different. They look different. So I don't know if it's a alien with a 2-headed alien or some sort of Siamese situation, or I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Or like, if it is a hospital, some kind of experiment.
Right.
Gone wrong.
Yeah.
I kept looking at it being like, is this really a 2-headed corpse? That's the thing I was thinking the whole time, is being like, what earthly thing?
What metaphor is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I came away with that was an alien.
It did seem that way. Anyway, so they leave that thing.
They can't get nourishment from the chair. They fiddle with all the knobs. Can't figure it out. They peace out.
They leave, and Severian's like, let's go back to the gold ring, because nothing bad can happen with that.
Well, it's the little Severian's like, should we carry forward and like go on to like on our journey? And Severian's like, look at where the sun is in the sky. We're not going to get far enough. We don't know if we're going to have shelter. We have shelter here, but you know what we can do before the day ends? We're going to go to the ring, because we can make it there and back and still have a nice sleep. So let's go check out the ring.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go check out the ring. And then he's like, little Severian was like, sure, I'll come for the walk.
He's like, Papa, is this the ring where you poof? Papa, this ring is the one you want me to
Papa, look, I can almost fit my arms all the way around.
Oh my gosh, was this moment shocking to me, where it just vaporizes little Severian. I mean, totally just disintegrated. And Severian's like, all right, I guess we're moving on to the next thing.
So they walk towards the ring. They find a little staircase that gets up to it. It's at the end of an arm that seems like it's on the knee of a seated mountain sculpture. One little thing as they walk in here is they've got all these like sentinel-like robot things that they spotted when they came in, that they're like, whoa, it's so crazy. It feels like they're looking at it. Ooh, they're not, though. And then as they're about to go walk along the arm towards the ring, little Severian's like, whoa, look at those robots. And Severian's like, well, okay, they are facing a different direction, which was like a little horror movie. Like, what the heck is up with that? And then he's like, oh, they're facing the sun.
Right.
So these things are designed to track the sun like a flower kind of thing, which is cool. And so he's like, ooh, that's interesting. So there's like a little bit of a freaky, like, uh-oh, are they going to get attacked by this? And then he goes, and then he looks up and sees little Severian like skipping down the arm and is like, wham, hugs the ring, which is, and gets not like, I was like, oh, he's going to get teleported. No, fried to a crisp, immediately vaporized.
Just ash. Yeah.
Severian goes out, tries to use the claw to heal him, to bring him back, and it just makes him further crumble into dust. So the claw not healing him, but if we go by Dorcas's explanation, maybe speeds up to a time when he is further decomposed into ash.
Yeah.
And Severian's like, well, and turns around. And it does feel kind of like he's like, well, that's the end of that. But
it was so weird. He's like, I love this book. All right, maybe I don't. Maybe maybe we're doing something else today.
Well, he has this moment that's like, I was thinking about everything in the claw. Why would it work times when I don't want it to work? Why would it heal again? He says like Giraffe. I don't know the kid's name.
Yeah.
But he just says the name of the kid from
Right.
Thrax, who had the leaky eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
We never knew that kid's name. He never said that he got that kid's name.
Yeah.
What is going on, Severian? So he's like, why would it heal? I'm going to say it starts with a J. I'm going to call him Geralt. Why would it heal Geralt and not heal this kid when I wanted? When I care way more about this kid than I care about that kid in Thrax.
Yeah.
Why would this thing betray me? Maybe I have to, for my sanity, assume that Geralt was maybe my son and he lives on because he's like immediately compartmentalizing whatever pain he might have experienced from feeling like he seems like he cared about Severian for real. I mean, he didn't just abandon him when he got captured.
Right.
And is like starts imprinting whatever memories he had of little Severian to Geralt and being like, I saved Geralt, that's got to be good enough. And sort of sits on the steps and in that moment looks up at the Sentinel robots and the sun is setting. And just as it sets, they do like a little sun salute and settle into their night poses. And he's like seeing these two back to back. I don't know if he called them like two different miracles, like a horrible miracle of this thing just zapping the hell out of little Severian and vaporizing him to dust.
Yeah.
Followed by this spectacular force of technology. I don't understand this other miracle. It's like, to me, it felt like he was like, kind of evens out. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh man, what a sequence. It's like, well, I guess I know why the gold was never stolen.
Exactly. And he's like, now that when he was like, once I was closer, I realized there's like so many bones.
So many people are like, I want that gold. Yeah.
If I would have looked a little more carefully, I would have seen like all the bones.
Yeah. Really should have seen the warning signs on that one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mea culpa. So we end our little chapters this week. He kind of falls asleep and then he's woken by the sound of footsteps. So we don't know what the footsteps are yet.
Aggia.
It's going to be somebody he knows. Definitely.
I'm like, the claw is pulling Aggia through time no matter what. That is like my greatest back of my mind conspiracy of him getting this random hut in the jungle. And Aggie is like, I knew you'd be here. I'm like, the claw is somehow pulling her through time. They both touched it. She stole it in the first place. Like, if this is Aggia, I don't trust it.
Really interesting stuff this week. As again, I totally unpredictable, this book. It's just so, it goes, all of a sudden we're like in this weird, father-son relationship thing. It really never saw any of this coming. And I like that. I like that when a book can constantly surprise me like this one. So into it. I only have one. Like, I was reading this week and I was just kind of following my curiosity, and I didn't pull really many quotes. I have one quote.
Yeah, I also have I pulled a bunch of quotes this time that I was like, isn't this interesting? You go ahead and read your quote. I definitely have one that I think I only have one that is like my quote, but there is something that I pulled where I highlighted it because it was another sentence right before Severian said something like, but they probably didn't understand, but that I thought was interesting, but I'm going to find that while you read your quote.
All right. So this is from close to the end after Lil Severian has been vaporized. He says, they were all dead now. Severa and Beacon, whom I had never seen, the old man, the dog, Casdo, now little Severian, even Fetchin, all dead, all lost in the mists that obscure our days. Time itself is a thing, so it seems to me, that stands solidly like a fence of iron palings, with its endless row of years, and we flow past like Gyal, on our way to a sea from which we shall return only as rain. I knew then, on the arm of that giant figure, the ambition to conquer time, an ambition beside which the desire of the distant suns is only the lust of some petty, feathered chieftain to subjugate some other tribe.
Pretty good.
Powerful. And I think that kind of, it feels like it's closer to a thesis statement for the whole series, where it's like him realizing, you know, all of our little squabbles, the real enemy here is time.
Yeah.
And I've always been drawn to that notion in fiction, you know, in all media, really, writing of nonfiction, fiction, whatever, what have you. There's a quote that I come to all the time. I think it's Shakespeare. It's from a John Barton acting video on Shakespeare, where he says that old, hard-hearted arbitrator time, like time really is the only enemy. You know what I mean? It's the one that you cannot defeat. And I love him framing it that way too. It's like the only thing we have to fight against is this incessant progress of time. Really cool.
Yeah. Well said. Here's the section that I thought was just like a little tidbit for the future. Little Severian clutched, this is in the mage duel. Little Severian clutched me more tightly. Aren't you afraid anymore? No, I said. Could you see that I was frightened? He nodded solemnly. What I was going to tell you was that the existence of that relic, the Claw of the Conciliator, seems to have given some people the idea that the Conciliator used claws as weapons. I have sometimes doubted that he existed, but if such a person ever lived, I'm sure that he used his weapons largely against himself. Do you understand what I am saying? I doubt that he did, but he nodded. When we were on the path, we found a charm against the coming of the new sun. The 3 colored men, who I think are the ones who have passed this test, use claws of steel. I think that they must want to hold back the coming of the new sun so they can take his place and perhaps usurp his powers. That is the section that there is. Why would the Conciliator use his weapons largely against himself?
Yeah.
That's like some kind of... Something's in there. I don't know what it means.
I agree.
But that was just one of the beats
really
that
interesting.
Stuck to me
Totally.
for pondering on later. And then I had one. Oh no, that my other quote is the one that you pulled as well.
Is that? Oh,
Same one.
sorry about that.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right. Well, we have chapters 25 to 31 next week. We're getting close to the end of sort of the Lictor. Only 2 more weeks of that. Thanks for being with us. We're muddling through, trying to figure it out, trying to make our way, but I'm having a good time. It's interesting. And the writing remains gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Another
right,
cliffhanger
folks.
too.
Totally. Have a good week. Hope you keep dancing.
When the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality, open up those pages and start by your fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends.